Sonny Bird apparently works in a hospital, and it doesn't say if this person is a minister or a nurse. From the way it reads, I would assume probably there as spiritual help, but not sure. But anyhow, this is just an excerpt from the diary at dailycoast.com. It's titled "As God Is My Witness," and I'm quoting. I'm entirely quoting here. One of the last people I sat with was one of those who had drunk every flavor of GQP Kool-Aid, worshipped the Orange Menace, and somehow equated Ivanka and Melania as Republican terrestrial agents that were planted with Trump so he could do his godly duty and save the entire planet and the white human race because other races are unworthy of walking on God's planet. Frankly, my skin crawled, and I wanted to leave the room and never go back, but that's not why I'm there. He ranted about the Dems, the traitor Dems, and libs that were destroying the planet. One of the last things he said to me was, quote, "As God, Trump, is my witness, my soul will be avenged for the wrongs done to all of us by the evil demons of hell, the libs and the Dems," end quote. And I'm still quoting from Sonny Bird's diary. He was actually waving his fist in the air, was red-faced and crying. I tried to calm him, but he started coughing and then passed away. He died. He was in end-stage COVID. Okay, this is my editorial comment. So back to the diary. A nurse had stopped in the hallway as he started his rant, witnessing this final moment. She hollered to the nurse nearby and hurried to him. I stood in the corner out of their way so I could make my final statement after he was declared deceased. The nurse looked at me after they both declared him deceased and asked if this was normal. No, it wasn't. His final words were unhinged and hateful. No thoughts of love for his family or friends or happy memories, just cruelty and hate. Now, we're not born this way. This isn't the natural, Thomas Hobbes was wrong. This is not the natural state of humanity. The natural state of humans is to be alive and loving and caring and considerate. What the Russians have done in the suburbs of Kyiv, for example, in Bucha and the other little towns around there, going through and literally raping, murdering. This is not normal. And screaming as you're dying about your political enemies is not normal. People have to be taught to hate. There's all kinds of subtle ways that society does it. We have this whole structure that we generally refer to as white privilege that, you could say is a piece of that. But then there's this media ecosystem that is being cheered on by a right-wing billionaire infrastructure and ecosystem that in order to prevent Americans from having the same kind of health care that, people enjoy all over the world, in advanced democracies all around the world, to prevent people from having free education, because these things would raise the taxes on rich people. In order to prevent, pollution control and the electrification of America, because these people make their money selling fossil fuels. They are assisting, supporting, cooperating with, collaborating with, whatever you want to call it, these right-wing outlets that are teaching people to be hateful and fearful. And how is that a good thing? This is not, when the Constitution was written, there was a discussion about the free press, and we almost lost that. The free press is written into the First Amendment, but in 1798, when John Adams was a one-term president, right in the middle of his presidency, John Adams got pissed off at the newspapers for attacking him, and he passed the Alien Sedition Law. It so offended Jefferson that for the next 2 years, Jefferson was vice president. He refused to come talk with John Adams. He never again met him physically until the day they both died. And the Alien and Sedition Act allowed the President of the United Staes to shut down newspapers and put their publishers in jail. And he shut down 17 newspapers and jailed over 20 newspaper editors, including Ben Franklin's grandson, Benjamin Franklin Bach, because Bach had written an editorial saying that Adams was old, toothless, querulous, and balding. So we want a free press. We don't want to go back to John Adams. But is this what the founders had in mind? Somehow I don't think so. Now, I'm not calling for limits on the press, but I am saying that I think the rest of the press, what we now refer to as the corporate media, has some kind of an obligation to point out how toxic some of the press within this country have become.